So, Mary, you
Mhm.
were nominated for Rising Phoenix Award by Elisa Guyton. Thank you for accepting.
Thank you. Well, I've been through a lot. Alcohol and drug addiction.
Mhm.
It led me to prison several times. After prison, because of my addiction, and at the time, it was in the 90s where there wasn't a lot of treatment facilities available for us at that time.
Okay.
So everything that was done, we went to prison and recovered there. What little recovery you got, you didn't get treatment. So when you got out, you kind of went back to the same thing that you knew before you left. So after that, I came home after one of the stays in prison and got in trouble again
Okay.
and ended up in front of a wonderful judge named Judge Collins. I look at him as my savior. I went in front of him and he sent me to Don Farm and he gave a little speech before he sentenced me and asked me my last name, and I told him my last name is Bass, and he said that he was our Bass from Ypsilanti, and I told him yes, I was, and he knew my family pretty well. He knew my dad well, and they were always locally politically involved in Ypsilanti,
Okay.
especially,
Mhm.
and he worked with my dad at Ford. Him and my dad knew each other. My dad was on the other side of the fence with the union. He was a
Mhm.
bargaining. So anyway, he asked me, what do I think my dad would want me to do with me? And I told him time served. And he was like, he laughed and said, no, because I was trying to get out of there. And so he sent me back to jail. And later on, I learned that inmate services that they had there said he had came and he wanted to specifically make sure that I got somewhere where I can recover, to a good place and a long-term place. So I ended up going to the farm for a year. No, altogether, I went through the farm for a year, and then I ended up in their first transitional homes, apartments,
Okay.
and I think I was there for about 6 to 8 months. Judge Collins also told me something was my inspiration, I think, of remaining sober. And he
Mhm.
told me, just being from the family background that I'm from, that if I remain sober, find my way through, what I was going through, that I would be a asset to my community. And I'm like, an asset to my community. That was something I've never heard
Right.
before.
Right.
So after I left the farm, I started working for Ford Motor Company. I have a residential recovering home that 6 beds for 6 women
Mhm.
is full today. I am working along with some of the agencies where most of them are opiate users, MAT users, which is medically assisted treatment, treatment where they may need some type of help through their recovery, something to keep them balanced and anything that can kind of and then get tapered off while they're there. And I find it pretty good because I've worked with when I first opened, I didn't take in methadone or OUD women that had to be assisted with some type of substance, some type of approved drug to help them. And it is a big difference. I see that it's easier for them to cope, and now I see why, because when I came through treatment, no way we could have had any of this. So I do see a big difference. And really, I try to help educate them and give them tools to use in recovery. Like like I was taught, stick with the women, get sponsors, go to a certain amount of meetings a week. If able, get a job, learn how to be a great employee, learn how to work, get to work on time and
Mhm.
learn some work ethics because most of us don't have it when we coming
Right.
into our beginning of our recovery.
Right.
Also, I try to inspire them. I try to inspire them by leading by example. Number one,
Mhm.
doing what I'm supposed to do and with them, and being there for them, being a friend for,
Mhm.
and being humble. I don't come in, in a Jaguar or a Mercedes. I drive my 2010 car, and try to get them to work on their inner self. Not only the inner self, also you have to work on your outer self also. And with that, that's where I met Elise. I looked
Mhm.
around and asked people who did they know that was a yoga instructor, and I called her. I looked at all of them, looked at the things that they do online. And
Yeah.
I called Elise, and she's been wonderful to
Yeah.
the women, and the women love her. And the ones that do believe, if they have if their higher power is God, some of them go to church. I have a prayer lady that comes in once or twice a month
Mhm.
and do prayers with them, teaching them the Bible and things like that. I've been fortunate enough to know some of the businesses that's in our community, and I've had them to go to spa parties where they went and got microderms and, just making them feel good, things that they've never had.
Right.
So
Right.
it's that teeth whitenings and all type of things from the spa party. So they was
Mhm.
just like really, really happy about that. Just trying to teach them to take care of themselves and to, you have to grow. I don't only think you have to grow innerly, you have to grow from the out too. Your physical being and taking care of your hygiene and things like that.
Go
I
ahead.
also provide a safe structure for them. The house is really nice. The decor is super nice, beautiful. A place where they can really come and say, "Wow, this place is really nice." And I don't put up with bullying or harassment. They learn how to clean and do their chores on time and be a good neighbor and go by house rules and curfews. And I'm getting better at it also, at learning how to communicate the things that I feel they need. And also I listen to them also to tell me what they need and to try to reunite them with their families. That's a
Mhm.
big deal to me, and their kids.